Welcome! I'm really excited about this video. I think it's the most important video that I've ever made, and I think it's the most important thing to hit the seduction or pickup artist community. So important, and I hope you enjoy our background. There's a reason why we have this absurd background, and looking at it now, my calibrated instinctive mind says this is not working. But anyway, so powerful what I have to say today that the entire seduction community can take a break. I challenge you. If you watch this video and take it in, and you may have to watch it a few times, you probably will, the whole seduction community can take a proper, thorough pause from all of the bandaid solutions that are out there. So, okay, on the right here, we have the representation of anxiety as awkward silence. And on the left, we have anxiety as beauty. And they're both the same anxiety, really. There's only one anxiety, and that's your anxiety. The way that anxiety of awkward silence works is that you see, and reflexively, internally, you begin to manifest anxiety that's produced by you. With beauty, it's very similar, but it's much more projected. It's externalized in the same way that awkward silence anxiety is externalized, but it's more gross and then reflexes back like a mirror and then manifests internally. So what is this video about? And yeah, this is interesting. You're not even in focus, Boo-Boo.
I was in focus?
No. Yeah.
Is it in focus?
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so this video is about anxiety is unfocused fear. Title star. So can you keep your focus? Can I keep my focus? Unfocused fear. In the first place, so let's really begin an inquiry, because I'm very serious that this is an incredibly important video. So important that it trumps all kind of organizational thinking, all kind of discursive thinking, all kind of pickup concerns, and really gets to the heart of the matter. Boo-Boo, have a seat.
Thanks.
So, what is fear, or when is fear? Is fear in the future, or is fear in the past? Anybody? Fear is the future. Sadness, shame, these are of the past. Okay, so it's always an anticipation. It's always of the future. So let's begin by looking at the message in fear. Now I'm going to have to write this right here. I encourage you to watch this video again and again. The message in fear is that there's something that I care deeply about that's important to me. Okay? And this something is something that I have that I want to keep, or something that I don't have and want to get. Typically, people think about fear as something that I'm afraid to lose. Oh, my girlfriend is talking to that guy. I'm afraid I'll lose my girlfriend. Or I'm having an interaction with this woman, and if I don't stay interesting, I'm going to lose her attention. Okay? And this is a very pernicious, very asleep way of looking at it. But if you really see fear and understand fear as an aspect of future, then it's entirely wrapped up in there's something that I have that I can keep, or there's something that I don't have that I can get. Begins from a place of delusion, which I'm not going to get into right now. Okay, so now when you're talking to somebody, when there's this anxiety, or you're about to go talk to somebody, again, anxiety is unfocused fear. Well, where is the focus not being put? What is there that I have that I want to keep? that I don't have and I want to get? What is it really? If you reach in the most subtle way you can, what is this? In terms of anxiety, in terms of meeting somebody. Anybody? Anybody? It's myself. I have myself and I want to keep myself. I don't want to be thwarted. I don't want to be unvalidated. And only you can do that to yourself, by the way. I don't want to be less than, or I don't have and I want to get. I don't have myself in this anxious moment and I want to get it. All right, remember the message in fear. There's something that I care deeply about that's important to me. So let's deal right now with anxiety through approach. Anxiety as unfocused fear, which I'm going to say it again. The message is there's something I care deeply about that is important to me, and it is myself. The thing that if I can have myself in the interaction, then everything will fall as it may. Right? The chips will fall as they may. If you take a moment to internalize this, every orientation to outcome falls, dissipates, insofar as you have yourself. So now the sign that it's an instance of shame. So we're shifting. There's two real shadows here. One is the fear shadow, which is about the future. And then there's the past shadow, which is shame. And the realm of am I good enough is all about shame. Okay? So the tell of shame, all right, the sign of shame is that there was a message that I received when I was young, probably from a primary caregiver, somebody that I cared about so much that when they gave me this message, I took it on as my own. You're not good enough. Don't do that with your sister. When are you going to get to the school? You get your shit together. All these messages that we receive as children, that we take on, we begin to take them on as our own, and we use them. We actually use them in our resourcefulness. So I really want to just clean the slate here and bring it to the simplest thing. I'm anxious. How do I go up and talk to her? Is it because she's not going to accept me, because I'm going to lose her? Or is it simply because fear is not being focused into the correct, into the relevant aspect of my own experience as it relates to the message of fear, which is there's something that I care deeply about that's important to me. In this case, not in all cases, it's me. That is what I care about. In other cases, it may be the relationship. If there's jealousy, for example, in that case, then we want to turn it around. It's kind of like the law of attraction, where instead of thinking that our shame or our fear is the prospect of losing or not having, on the contrary, it's a joy and an opportunity. When you're talking to a woman, for example, in the midst of awkward silence, or there comes to be an awkward silence on a date, if you can do the fear processing here, okay, instead of saying, I'm about to lose her, your fear is not, I'm about to lose her. Your fear is there's something that I have here, this woman, that I could be curious about, that I can know more about. I'm about to lose her, which is only putting your fear, facing it back onto you and intensifying. Experience ourselves as good enough, firstly by working through the shadow, but simultaneously working with the sense itself of what is good enough. This is a felt sense, it's not a concept. So in this process, we simultaneously encounter and experience directly the feeling, the felt sense of good enough. Not I am good enough, Because if I am good enough, then I am good enough, I am bad enough, I am hungry enough. It's always changing. But good enough itself is a felt sense, okay? And we're not going to get into that now. Come on a workshop to look at that. So this creates a base, a canvas. Good enough itself creates a canvas whereby the shadow processing can happen, whereby we can have a vantage point in order to let go of our shadow or our shame. There's a format process for this fear in the shadow work. And then there's a format process for shame in the shadow work. Okay? So, boom, booyakasha. So there you are on the date. And the silence becomes awkward, right? Or is it really awkward? What is awkward? It's a reflected or refracted projection of not being good enough. That's what awkwardness is. It is unfocused fear. So let's focus the fear. The fear is there's something that I have, this woman in front of me, that I can keep, right? That I can get to know, that I can learn about, that I can be curious about, that I can reach over and say, how are you? I just want to shift for a second to look at another kind of fear that comes up, namely the fear of jealousy, unrequited love, pressure in your relationship. All right, remember the message in fear. There's something that I care deeply about that's important to me. In this case, where it's in a relationship, or even when you're about to walk up to a woman, you care deeply about meeting her. Okay? You care deeply about the relationship if you're in a relationship or if there's jealousy. Fearless generosity. And we're so caught up, we're so handicapped, paralyzed at the prospect of generosity because it's entwined in two things. What we've seen socially and culturally, that a needy person always gets hurt. What is it called? Nice guys finish last. That, and it's entwined in a real shadow. Both of them are delusions. And only your own power, your own internal presence and strength, which you must encounter both through shadow processing and through waking up process. The experience of good enough itself, stillness, peace, an uninterrupted plane of awareness. That is what you are. The reflex of awareness that sees her seeing you, all right, or imagines the stillness or the silence as awkward, okay, is interrupted awareness. It's reflexive awareness. But pure awareness doesn't do that. And we encounter that in the body and as the self or no self. Directly, we have exercises for you to experience this. And with practice, to fill in the grooves, to sustain it. Okay? So this is a lot. All right? But it's very much, when I say this now, I think about what the Buddha said. He said, life is suffering. Ha ha! Right? And suffering has a cause. And there's a way out of suffering. Okay? And then he invites you into a process of this way out of suffering. So it's there. It is possible. Okay? Unfortunately, it's not possible without some real curiosity and some real inward looking and a lot of practice. All right? So know that. Know that this is a road ahead. But know what road you're on. And know when you're pointing your cart south when you're trying to go north. Because 99% of what's happening in the pickup community is simply that. Pushing the cart north in the hopes that it'll spin around and things will turn out for you. No, you need to look at what you're carrying with you in your bag, that you've been carrying on this cart with you for so long. All right? And then every direction is home.